everyone, welcome back to another video. In this week's video, we are going to make a pad chord, nice silky, smooth sound inspired by the likes of Flume and Disclosure. We're going to do that on Melbourne Instruments Nina, and it sounds like this. So let's get into it. First up, obviously, we're going to want to head to load and get a empty patch in there. So now what we have is super dark sounding sounds, but we're going to make it sound awesome, and we're going to do some fancy pants things along the way with taking away some envelopes and give them to other people. But let's get into some designing of the actual oscillators and whatnot. First up, obviously, we want to head over to layer, and we're going to look at the voicing. So we want to change we want to keep the poly mode to poly, obviously, because we're going to be playing chords. And then unison voices, we're going to hit edit, and we're going to change that to 4. This is a 12 voice synth, so if we start to add too many unison voices, when we play chords, it's not going to play them. It's going to steal notes from different parts. So 4 is a good amount. So if you play a triad or 4 notes, you're still going to get the full chord sort of thing. So let's go over to unison detune. So at the moment, it sounds a little bit louder, but nothing sort of too crazy. Let's go to unison detune and then get that up to 11. This sounds really dark, so I'm going to head over. Let's get rid of that keyboard, and I'm going to just pitch up these. It's a little bit better. Little bit better. So let's go to oscillator 1. We're going to keep that pretty much as is. Maybe we'll go to coarse. Yeah, I'm going to keep that down 1. We'll keep it as a sawtooth and the full volume there. Oscillator 2, we're going to keep that where it is tuning wise, but we're going to turn this into a square. So you can hear that there when I turn oscillator 1 down, turn oscillator 1 back up. So we got the marriage of that saw and square being super awesome together. Oscillator 2 is going to stay, the volume's going to stay where it is. And I think we'll add some noise in later, but for now we'll just keep it as it is. Next up, we're going to want to look at the modulation and where different bits are affecting different bits. At the moment, we have envelope generator 1 affecting the cutoff via this little one and via the mod matrix. So if I go to mod matrix, you can see as I flick through these, different pots will move because that's what is being affected by that function. So we've got envelope generator 1, and at the moment we just turn that off and we're good. So now when to adjust the filter, we just use this, but we want to use envelope generator 2, which is the VCA, which is effectively the volume for the whole synth. So let's go to here, envelope generator 2, and then we're going to go up to 46. And I know that because I made this patch before. I'm not just making it on the fly, otherwise the video would go out for ages. So we've got that. But it's still kind of whatever. So let's shape this VCA, which is also controlling the filter, to kind of get it a bit more pad-like. So let's go to VCA and we're gonna kind of got something going there. It's a little bit more pad-like, a little bit more in the ballpark of what we want. Maybe add a little bit more resonance. Now from here, what we want to do is use the envelope generator 1 to affect oscillator 1 and oscillator 2's pitch. So we want it to, as you heard in the demo, we want it to pitch up as it goes. So let's go to mod and we'll go to envelope generator 1 and then we're going to affect oscillator 1. So for this, let's just turn down oscillator 2. And if I bring up the little keyboard, and let's bring up the little tuner, and let's bring up the filter so we can hear what's going on. And you can see that it's holding an F. Now before we go in and adjust the modulation and stuff like that, I'm going to set envelope generator 1 pretty close to how I want it, and this is only because I have made the patch earlier and I know the settings. But effectively what we want is a attack around halfway, so it gives it the pitch up. Decay is going to be down to 0. We want sustain to full, so once it hits that, once it pitches up and hits that pitch that we want it to go to, it will just stay there. And then the release is going to be to 0. So let's go to mod, envelope generator 1, and then let's go to the tune of 1. You can hear it's going up, it's going up. We got E. So about there, about 31. So let's go, let's turn up oscillator 2 and we'll do the same. Let's turn down oscillator 1. And turn down that, turn up 1. Just kind of getting a little bit more in. Turn down oscillator 2, exit out of that. So there we go, it pitches up evenly across. And let's turn down the filter a little bit and now play the chords. Just dialing in that VCA. Pull back the drive a little bit. Let's add a little bit of noise in there as well. Next up, let's look at some of the chorus. Let's add about 50% there. type. We'll keep it as a chorus, and we'll go to type 2. It's getting pretty close. So now let's look at adding just gonna add a stock standard Logic plugin for the reverb. Pull down the weight a little bit. Want a little bit more depth in the mix, so let's pull back the dry a little bit. And I think that's about it. Lastly, one thing that we can do is we can start to use the LFO to affect the filter. The filter just opens smooth, closes smooth. We want to create a little bit more with that. So let's go back into the mod. Let's choose envelope 2 for the, LFO 2. And then for LFO 2, let's affect the filter. So we just add just a little bit in there. So we're gonna go back to the mod. Make sure we got LFO 2. Why do I keep saying envelope? LFO 2. It's the LFO. We're gonna increase the level all the way to full. And then when we play, and you can hear that's pretty crazy. Let's go to the shape and change it to a triangle. I like the rate, so we've dialed that in, and then all we gotta do is just knock it back a bit with the level. And if you don't want it for something, just turn it off there. So there we go. Something super simple, just adding a little bit more flair and pizzazz to your patch. So again, hopefully you've got something out of this and you got to see how you can be a fancy pants of taking some envelopes away from one function and give them to another function. And hopefully at the end of the day, I've inspired you to create something. And until next time, see you later.